I went and got a jacket. I'm wearing long pants. I was prepared. And I'm still freezing. That's right. Let's go. Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to seven, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Today is Thursday, October 3rd, 2019. That's right, Thursday, October 3rd, 2019. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Thursday, October 3rd, 2019. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most of this absolutely incredible day. Fair enough. Let's make the absolute most of this incredible day. Man, I am in the same spot I've been for the last 2 days. What's up, Darian Sanders? And I gotta tell you, it's freezing. I never imagined in a place where the temperatures have been, high 80s, low 90s. But for some reason, this area right here is like an icebox. So I wore a jacket today. I'm that weird guy that's wearing a suit jacket with a t-shirt, right? Maybe that's not weird. Maybe some people like that. Maybe that's your dig. I don't know. For me, it felt a little awkward. A little uncomfortable, but I tried to do that to try to stay warm, but it didn't help. It is just absolutely freezing out here. But enough about me. How about you? Listen, I hope that you've had a very strong week. I do. I hope that you have had an incredibly strong week. You see, you and I have been attacking the fact. This week we've been attacking the fact that you and I are slaves to our habits. We've been discussing pattern interrupts. We've been talking about willingness. We've been talking about mindfulness in attempts to change a behavior, to either learn a new behavior or to get rid of an old behavior, something that's not serving us, right? We've been talking about creating a habit if we're going to be slaves, not going to be, since we are wired and required to be slaves to our habits, creating habits that actually serve us, habits that actually help us grow and move forward versus habits that are holding us back. So you and I have been talking about that all week this week, and I hope that you've had a really strong week. I know that for me personally, I've learned a lot as we've been going through this journey. Also, I've had the honor of spending an incredible amount of time with the Carter Myers automotive team out here in Virginia, which is just a bunch of incredible, amazing superhumans. So I was there all day on Tuesday. I got the honor and privilege of being there all day yesterday. And again, today, I will be with the Carter Myers Automotive Group, spending time with them again today. So for me, this has been a really strong week. This has been a week where I personally have been self-reflecting and looking at some of the behaviors and patterns that I am a slave to in my life, looking at how I can overcome some of those. I've also been working with a bunch of people in the Carter Myers automotive side and looking at the habits and patterns that they have become slaves to unwillingly or unknowingly, ones that maybe aren't necessarily serving them as best as they could be served. So strong week, and hopefully a strong week for you as well. The main purpose, as we've done 3 episodes now, I want to make sure that nobody is missed out on this key point. See, you are required 70,000 thoughts a day. That's the stat. We have 70,000 thoughts a day. Only 5% of those thoughts are original. The other 95% are kind of autopilot that we've created based on our experiences over time. 95% of your thoughts and actions are behaviors that you've created that are part of your life that have been there for a while, that have developed over time. Only 5% are new and original. So knowing this, being willing to embrace this is our key to be able to get rid of something in our life we don't like or add something new. Does that make sense? You are a slave to your habits and your thoughts and your patterns. So if you're going to be a slave to them, let's create good ones. Want to make sure that you got that. Just in case you were saying good morning and didn't hear that, or just in case the person turned on a light behind you and distracted you for a minute. Want to make sure you don't miss this. Let's be a slave to things that progress us forward. If we're going to be slaves, let's be a slave to things that are going to progress us forward. But listen, it has been a great week and I have learned a lot. All right. But meanwhile, while all of these things have been going on, while we've been learning in here, while we've been training in here, while I've been training here in Virginia, life has been going on, right? Life has been going on. Life is continuing out there. Like, for example, out there in the world, I don't know if you saw this or not. Please. But out there in the world, there was a young woman, a police officer, who walked into, she says, she walked into the wrong apartment. And she saw an African-American man sitting there eating ice cream. And she shot him, thinking he was an intruder, and she killed him. And this trial's been going on, and she was found guilty. She was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 10 years in prison. And at her sentencing, this young man here, the brother of the man that she killed, he just asked, as he stood up there, he said, "Man, I forgive her, and I hope that she will ask God to forgive her, because he will too." And then he asked, "Can I please hug her?" And he got up from around the stand, the judge allowed him to, and he embraced her, and they hugged. And then the judge came down, and he hugged her. And there was this moment that you never see in a courtroom. A moment where there was forgiveness. A moment where there was tragedy and there was pain. A moment that was completely different than what you would have expected. Especially when you're talking about, like, man, you got a black guy killed by a white woman and she's a cop. Are you kidding me? Black guy killed by a white woman and she's a cop. Like, typically the patterns, what was expected, what I anticipated, is that there'd be riots, that there'd be so much pain and just division. And some of that it does exist out there. It is. There's people complaining that you only got 10 years. People that have never spent a day in jail. I tell you, 10 years is a long time. So that does exist. But that was a pattern interrupted. It was something different. That gentleman, what he did in that courtroom is he found peace for himself. He won't live with this grudge. He won't live with this burden of hatred towards this woman that killed his brother. Instead, he released all that. He can still live a life free and with joy. A pattern interrupted. Forgiveness is powerful. So meanwhile, while we've been in here this week working on ourselves and trying to discover what is that one thing that we want to add or that one thing that we want to remove from our life, real life stuff is going on out there in the world around us. As a matter of fact, right now, one of our own, our friend Bambi, she's in the emergency room with her 3-year-old. Her 3-year-old daughter came down with pneumonia. And this little girl, she was a preemie, so she's had some medical issues before, but she got pneumonia and they went to the hospital and they thought it was going to be just a little bit better and just a little bit, just she was having a tough time breathing. And then next thing you know, it advanced and here she is right now, or last I heard, she was on life support. She was on life support being held together by some tubes and some wires and technology. And her parents' embrace and their love for her and prayers. There are people that are in this group that posted, "Let's pray for Bambi." And I asked this morning if you'll find the time to pray for Bambi and her 3-year-old daughter as they're in the hospital fighting. She's fighting for her life. But what I saw in the midst of that is Bambi has been posting. She's been posting amazing memories of her daughter like that one. She's been posting that she believes and has faith that God will come through, that he will pull off a miracle, and that the members of the Rise and Grind... Sorry, the kids always get me. And that the members of the Rise and Grind group will continue to lift them up. I see her light. I see her positive. I see her power. It's a pattern interrupt. It's not typical. It's not normal. It's not what we always see. But see, we get to choose. That's what this week has been all about. We get to choose. We get to choose the behaviors. We get to choose the patterns. We just have to be willing to accept the things that come along with that. We have to be mindful of how we feel and how we react to it. And over time, these decisions that we make can impact and influence others. I'm going to give you one more example. I went into, let me see if I can find this. So my man Josh O posted this in the Rise and Grind group October 1st. He says, so you're a member of Rise and Grind. How has the group helped you? I'll start. It made my spirit unkillable and made me realize that my tribe is huge. And as I read down through all of these comments, Catherine Kigley says, it's helped me find my voice and my confidence. I know I am capable of achieving so much. It opened my eyes to a lot of changes I needed to make. And I also now have an amazing circle. Matt Groves says, it led me to meet amazing people, which led me to Virginia to start a new career with CMA. Eric Willeroy says, found a roadmap when I was ready to give up, that it is possible to find your target, your why, and that your goals and success are obtainable when you truly believe in yourself. And yes, a huge tribe that I call family. Janelle Griego says, it's helped me find a community of like-minded people that truly cheer for each other's wins, a group that has become family, a family that has shown me we are never too old to get started and to let our unique light shine. Carrie Lynn Carter says, well, I just love all y'all. Kyle says, it inspires me every day to be a better person and reminds me that things could always be worse. Peggy Frank says, it's an amazing amount of self-worth and love from strangers that are now dear friends. And the list goes on and on and on. And as I read all those posts, it makes me think. It makes me think in regards to everything that we're talking about and everything that we've been learning and focusing on this week. It just shows how the effect that you have, the effect that you've had on each other, and the effect that you've had on each other's lives by the decisions that you've made, by being a part of hashtag Rise and Grind, by connecting with each other offline, by connecting through Messenger, through comments, responding to each other's stuff. Look at the impact you've had on other people's lives, man. It's amazing. And so as you attack your one thing here in October, as you figure out what that one thing is in your life that you want to remove or that you want to add, as you attack that, I want you to understand that that decision that you're making right now to make that change, that one decision, is making an impact. It is going to make an impact on the people around you. And that's what I want to talk about today, that one decision. Listen, I want to inspire you. I want to motivate you to move. I want you to understand your value and your place that you have on this planet, man. I know that sometimes when you talk about things like Rise and Grind or self-help, or you show people that you're pouring into yourself, or that you're learning, or that you're reading, or whatever, I know that some people don't get it. I understand that. I know that some people don't get it. I know that some people give you, they give you grief, right? They're like, oh, you're in that Rise and Grind thing, you're in a cult. What do you mean you're waking up at whatever time in the morning? You're thinking crazy. I know that you get that sometimes. I know that some people think it's weird. And I know that some people think that you focusing on yourself is actually a selfish thing. Isn't that crazy? People think that you focusing on yourself, growing yourself as an individual, there are people out there that think that that is a selfish thing. They think that taking care of yourself is a bad thing. Just being you, the best version of you, they see that as a negative. And so I'm here to tell you this morning that you being the best version of you is your best way, your best tool to serve others.
And at a certain point, I realized, hey, wait a second, if it's so easy to lose Jim Carrey, who the hell is Jim Carrey?
So you're just passing. We don't matter.
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm not looking backward.
Why don't we just...
It was more like you're supposed to say, we're important. And you're supposed to say it's all going to be all right. And you're supposed to say that, whatever you dream can come true. And you're supposed to say all those things. I do believe in manifestation, power of that kind of stuff. But I don't believe that any of it matters. This mattering is to me a human construct born out of a need, the same need as you have to have, deities and things like that. I believe in an energy of God, an energy of, everything is divine. There's no thing that isn't divine. Everything is divine, and I'm that. And it doesn't matter to me what's happening. I'm finding that ultimately the freedom from it is something people are kind of hungry for in a way. Right. They're like, I don't want to be me either.
Right.
And I go, well, great, because you never have been. I believe that I had to become a famous, idea and get all the stuff that people dream about and accomplish a bunch of things
you know what this means, don't you?
That look like success in order to give up my attachment to those things. It's been a part of the evolution of ego is to spend your first half of your life acquiring and adding, thinking you can add to yourself, and it looks great. I mean, it looks great when you got a cool car and you got good, nice clothes and and you've done something that people admire, but it can never fulfill you. You can never be happy. You know what I mean? It's not where happiness comes from. And I dealt with depression, a few years ago, and people still think, well, he's going through, you can tell he's depressed. It's not. I have no depression in my life whatsoever. Literally none. I have sadness and joy and elation and satisfaction and gratitude beyond belief, but all of it is weather. And it just spins around the planet, it doesn't sit on me long enough to kill me. The happy place is realizing that you're everything, and that there's no real you involved in the first place. It's a weird little semantic jump that you make where it sounds like, well, that's totally fucking threatening, man. I can't not be me. I built this construct. And it's just ideas. Right. They're just ideas. The only thing that separates you from an African American or an African Canadian is an idea, and the weather, the adaptation to the climate, and whatever it is. I don't believe in any of it, and so the feeling of wholeness is a different feeling than meanness. They're all characters that I played.
He talks about the feeling of wholeness. Now, Jim Carrey and we don't necessarily have the exact same beliefs, and that's okay. He does his thing, and I do my thing. The key, the focus, what I want you to focus on, the element that I want you to focus on there is it's not the cars, it's not the houses, it's not the stuff. It's this fulfillment that you have with self. That is the key. You see, listen to me, your decision to create good habits that makes you a better person, that is one of the most selfless things that you can do. You understand? That is one of the most selfless things that you can do, to allow yourself to run at anything less than 100% is probably the most selfish thing that you can do. See, I know there's people that say, well, I don't have time to take care of myself, Glenn. I don't have time to take care of myself. I have to take care of my spouse. I have to take care of the kids. I have to take care of work. I have to take care of the people at church. I have to take care of whatever. I'm serving others. I'm not a selfish person, so I can't take care of self. I am busy serving others. And I'm here to tell you this morning, if that is your case, if that is your mindset, if that is the truth that you are telling yourself, you are doing the world a disservice. You are doing the world a disservice. You see, the world is already, it's like crazy, right? It's a crazy place. Like, we as human beings, we're kind of all over the place. There's things that are going on in our life. There are things that we have to react to. There are decisions that we have to make. Life is moving. It's in motion. Police officers are killing innocent people by accident and getting hogged by their brother in church. Members of the Rise and Grind community have family members or themselves that are struggling with medical issues and that are in hospitals as we speak. There are members of the group who are having transformations. There are people outside of this group that are having transformations. Life is going on. It's already kind of crazy. So we don't need you adding to all of the crazy by not being centered with yourself. Does that make sense? You see, I want you to take the actions that are going to allow you to stand out. I need you at 100% because it's crazy out there. So I need you to rise with intention. I need you to live with joy. I need you to disrupt what has been your normal. I need you to evolve as an individual. We need you to become the absolute best version of yourself that you can possibly be. You see, I need you to leave your mark. I need you to make an impact, and I want you to start today. I want you to start today. I want you to start right now. I want you to say, like, screw it. Throw everything else out and then go all in on self. You are one decision away from a completely different life. One. And that one decision affects everyone around you. It will affect your friends. It will affect your family members. It will affect your coworkers. Your decision to rise with me, all 100 of you that chose to rise with me at 5:30 a.m. Eastern, the thousands that will rise with me throughout the day, that decision to spend time with self, to rise early, to do the morning 5, to go out and do your run, to go out and work out 1,000 days in a row, all of these decisions that you're making, they matter. They're making an impact. They've made an impact on me. And I, for one, I absolutely stinking love you for it. If nobody's told you that yet today, I want to be the first. I absolutely stinking love you. But listen. I need you at 100. 80 doesn't work. 70% won't fly. There's too much. There's too much going on. And you are a slave to the habits you've created. And so I need you to take one. In October, just take one. One thing that you need to eradicate from your life. Let's embrace it. Let's be mindful of it. Let's be willing to go through it. It's going to be hard. No one says it's going to be easy, but let's change it. Let's create one thing, one new thing that we know that we could be doing for ourselves that would make you. What is the one thing that you could do that would make you a better person? Because when you're the best version of you, man, changes the world. When you're the best version of you, it completely changes the world. Listen, if you need more videos like this, you can go to GlennLundy.com. If you need some Rise and Grind gear, go to GlennLundy.com. If you haven't done so already, I need you to pray for my friend Bambi and other members of the group. I believe Amy Myers' husband just had a surgery, and there are other members of the group who are having some medical issues and need some prayers and need to be lifted up. So if you could, please make sure you drop them in your prayers today. Most importantly, we've got a special announcement tomorrow morning. So if you will tune in tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m., we're going to do this all over again on hashtag Rise and Grind. Go out there and have an incredible day. I hope you've had an incredible week. I'm going to head to Richmond, Virginia, where I'm going to spend some more time with the Carter Myers Automotive team. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Thank you so very much for joining me today, and I'll see you tomorrow on hashtag Rise and Grind.
Wake up. Peace.